Capitol Hill had Canada on the mind last week.
On this vote, the yeas are 219 and the nays are 211. The joint resolution is passed. Without objection, the motion to reconsider is laid on the table.
The U.S. House of Representatives voted to end the border emergency with Canada, a blow to Donald Trump's tariff agenda. But it's definitely not over yet. Joining us now is former U.S. Undersecretary of Commerce Bill Reinsch. Thank you so much for your time, sir.
Thank you. Pleased to be with you.
Well, let's start with Capitol Hill. The House passed a resolution to end President Trump's Canada tariffs, but it still has a long way to go. So talk to me about what happens next.
Well, it's the next thing that happens is it goes to the Senate, because the Senate has previously passed something similar, but they have to both pass the same thing in order for it to go to the president. Since the Senate has passed it before, they'll probably pass it again, and so then it'll go to the president. Probably earliest would be the week after next, because next week the Congress is in recess, and he'll veto it, so it doesn't get across the finish line. But the fact that it ends up in his desk and the House voted is significant.
Is it remarkable that 6 House Republicans joined Democrats in that vote? Can it be seen as a symbolic blow to the president's agenda?
Well, I think so. Frankly, I was a little surprised there weren't more. I mean, if you listen to grumbling about this, there's a lot of unhappy House members about the tariffs. And I thought that once the vote was going to happen, because originally 3, defeated the effort to postpone the vote, that there would be more climbing aboard the train. But 6 is enough. And I think probably if there are future votes on other ones, and there's rumored to be one coming up on Mexico and maybe Brazil, and maybe all of the tariffs from last April, the Senate has voted on that. Maybe more will join in once they see that maybe there's a bandwagon here.
Well, I want to go back to something you said a few years ago. During Donald Trump's first term, you said his approach to negotiating is always win-lose. So what did you mean by that, and is that still the case?
Well, I'm impressed you found out something that I said that long ago. I don't always remember what I said yesterday, but yes, I think his view of the world is kind of a zero-sum world. I don't win unless you lose, and the idea of win-win outcomes is not something that is inherent in the way he does business. I think in the legislative process that doesn't exactly fit. In the end, there are votes, and somebody wins and somebody loses. This is a case where he lost. Normally, when that happens, he doesn't take it well. There will probably be threats. There already were threats before the vote against anybody or any Republican who voted against him. There will now probably be more detailed threats against the 6. I mean, 2 of them are retiring, so there's not a lot that he can do about some of it. But he doesn't like to lose, and this is a case where he did.
How do you view the president's approach to trade negotiations with Canada specifically?
Yeah, that's a puzzle. I thought for a long time it was because he didn't like the previous prime minister. And then you had an election and changed prime ministers. And for a while, things were better, but now it's gotten worse again. He may I think part of the problem is, from Canada's point of view, is that Trump believes in leverage. He's a bully, and he believes in bullying. And Canada, given the relationship of the Canadian economy with the American economy, he knows he has leverage, and a lot of it. And there's not a lot that Canada can do about that in the short run. I mean, they're certainly taking steps, but those steps take time to mature. So I think he's determined to use the leverage he's got while he's got it to push very hard. It's hard to predict, and we're in a situation now, including with respect to Canada, where more and more of his announcements end up not actually happening. He threatened, there's the bridge thing with Canada. We'll see what happens with that. Then there was the tariffs because of airplane certification. That hasn't happened yet. And then there was a 100% tariff that he was talking about after Prime Minister Carney's speech in Davos. He doesn't always follow through. And that creates just a lot more uncertainty because nobody knows what's going to happen next. They don't even know if he's going to carry out his threats.
If you were in the Commerce Department now, what would you advise the current administration in relation to North American trade negotiations?
My advice has been consistent, which is to look at it as an integrated regional economy. The whole point of NAFTA, going back now, 30 years, was to create an integrated North American economy. NAFTA had its controversies and its shortcomings, as does the current agreement, but it actually succeeded in doing that. It created an integrated economy. And I think the message to today's Commerce Department or today's administration is, having done that, if you try to unravel it, you're going to cause enormous damage. And not just a damage to the other countries, you're going to cause enormous damage inside the United States with producers and consumers who rely on trade from other countries. American manufacturers who have built Canadian and Mexican parts and components into their supply chains, farmers who rely on exports to Canada and Mexico. There's just a coalition that I think is formed to support continuing the current agreement. We call it USMCA, and they noted, among other things, that U.S. agriculture exports, I think, to Canada have gone up 47% since the agreement went into force. That's a lot. And for our farmers, that's significant. So it is an integrated economy, and threatening to dissolve it is going to, just the threat is going to cause a lot of damage because people get nervous, investors hold on to their money, everybody waits to see what will happen. But if he actually does it, it'll be even worse.
Broadly speaking, sir, do you think things will get worse before they get better as far as a trade deal with Mexico and Canada is concerned?
Well, I think we're doomed to a lot of drama. The decision date is July 1. That's written into the agreement. I suppose they could figure out a way to postpone that, but right now it's July 1. I think between now and July 1, you're going to see a lot of drama. Threats, you're already seeing them. Threats to withdraw entirely, threats to dump the agreement and have two separate bilateral agreements, statements by our U.S. trade representative that he's going to negotiate separately with Canada and Mexico. Trump will make demands that will be fairly outrageous on both countries. I think a lot of that will be leverage. Frankly, his political advisors, I think, will tell him that even if he wants to withdraw and destroy the whole thing, leaving aside the size of the economic mistake that would be, even if he wants to do that, it would be a terrible political mistake in an election year. He's not up, but the entire House of Representatives and 1/3 of the Senate is up. And an economic disruption a few months before the election would be, I think, devastating to his chances to hold on to control of the Congress. So I don't think he'll do anything, but he'll scare everybody for the next 6 months. And we all just have to roll with that.
Bill Reinsch, thank you so much for joining us.
Happy to be with you.